And we're back. This is Nye County again. Tom Gibson here, and to my left is Chuck Augustin, and we were talking about, among other things, medical marijuana, hemp, and the conspiracy by the DuPont family and the people they own, in other words, the government, to keep these products illegal. And I would say Monsanto to hemp would be like, I'm sorry, DuPont to hemp would be like Monsanto is to the corn industry.
Right. And in fact, hemp is a threat to Monsanto and every other of the control industries. And that's why it's illegal, basically. There's no guesswork involved. There's been tons, but even the AMA went to the government and said this thing needs to be researched. There's ample proof that it has beneficial medicinal effects, and yet they keep it a Schedule I narcotic, which prohibits testing, lo and behold.
The federals do, but
yeah,
as the states keep moving along, making it illegal for people to use medicinally, or in the states of Washington and Colorado, they can use it for any purpose they like, and then the states that are right next to them are losing revenue because people aren't buying the liquor there; they're going next door and getting pot, and so I guess the bottom line is the huge revenues that they're making on this is going to get other states to join. I expect Nevada anytime. If Nevada, I mean, we're supposed to be the sin capital of the world. Right. I mean, we're lagging far behind when it comes to marijuana anyway. And personally, I'm a registered Republican, but I'm more of a libertarian at mind, or even an anarchist to a certain point.
There you go.
Not complete anarchist, but I mean, there's got to be some control. Otherwise, then it's just dog eat dog. It's almost like as bad as pure capitalism. But what we need to do is get more legalize practically all drugs. My personal opinion at one time, and still is that anything that grows on its own, that doesn't take more than a complex chemical process to make, why shouldn't it be legal? I mean, you got mushrooms, and you got marijuana, and you've got peyote, and all this stuff, poisonous frogs. Those aren't illegal, but
right.
but the only reason the frogs aren't illegal is how do you control poisonous frogs?
Yeah.
And people lick them all the time, and it's like an acid trip because of the alkaloids that are in there.
They lick the frog.
Yeah, you do that, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh no, frog licking is one of the most common causes of overdose because it is a poison. It's the same. Yeah. These are like the same type of frogs that they use for that they put the blow darts in.
Oh, those. Okay,
yeah, same. Yeah. Well, I mean, they're same family, but the frogs have this secretion that comes out in their skin, and when licked causes euphoria and hallucinations.
How about Ray the Flagman don't lick frogs? How about it, Ray?
Ray the Flagman don't lick frogs. You got that right. I knew that was about the frogs. It's not something I've heard it before. And matter of fact, I even had one flick on where somebody grabbed a frog and started licking it behind the eyeballs or something. I said, but I mean, people do different things to get turned on. But as far as marijuana, it's completely different. With marijuana, this stuff actually helps people, cures people, so many benefits. And for our government to intentionally deny us the use of this is completely irrational. There's got to be, like Tom said, the money makers behind it, DuPont, the Hearst family, and timber and things like that. That's what's screwing things up. And they're reluctant to give way, to let loose of this hold they have on the American people. But in November, in Nevada, we'll be able to make that choice because they'll be on the ballot. I think it's ballot question 2 to decriminalize it. And when I say decriminalize it, I'm not talking, everybody says recreational use. I don't like that term because I sit in court for the last 14 years and I see people going to the slammer for 1 to 4 for taking a hit off a joint. And this is irrational. This is completely wrong. And so if you decriminalize it, we empty the jails. Look at the positive effect of decriminalizing it. You empty the jails of all these people that are not violent criminals. All they are is someone that says, okay, I enjoy this substance or whatever. So in November, November, people, if you're listening to the show today and you vote, go in and vote, and let's take it out of the legal system, because it's absurd what's going on. And if you watch this on a daily basis, like I have been for 14 years, it's like pathetic. You say, now, what is wrong with this country, with the state of Nevada? We could have undone this in 2006. It was on a ballot. It was 6 or 8. It only lost by 50,000 votes back then to decriminalize it. But back then, only 40% of the public thought that it should be decriminalized or for recreational use. Now it's like 58%. So it's going to pass, and maybe things will level out. Of course, then the state will start putting more and more restrictions on the use and the growth, and because they want the money.
Right. Well,
the money deal.
Speaking of money, Ray.
For a minute.
Ray, speaking of money, when I worked in the federal PD's office in Memphis, Tennessee, from 96 to 2000, I handled and saw a whole lot of major drug cases, and I'm talking like not just kilos, but like hundreds of kilos. And in all the cases I had and I saw, I never, and nor did any of my colleagues when we brought this up, saw anybody that was mid-level or above that was prosecuted. Everybody they were mules, or they were the people that supplied the mules. And a mule, if you don't know, is the person that transports the stuff. But the serious movers and shakers never, ever, ever were prosecuted. They never even were arrested. And quite frankly, it was rumored that a lot of the movers and shakers in the drug business were, well involved in the. As a matter of fact, I know for a fact they were in parts of Tennessee. There was a group called what was there? Cedar Grove Mafia. Cedar Grove was a well-established neighborhood in central Tennessee, and it was made up of judges, sheriff's deputies, mayors, politicians, and the like. And they were all, what they did was they ran drugs, and what they did was they knew who the drug runners were, or the people that were selling it. They would be arrested by the cops, and then they would be put to work. They'd say, give us all your drugs, which they did, and then they took the cocaine and cooked it down into crack, and then they turned around and sold it to black neighborhoods and the poor areas, and that was all controlled. And most of these folks are white, but there were a lot of black people involved as well. So it wasn't just a white thing. However, and we turned them into the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office because the information that we gathered, and they said, sorry, we can't get involved because it would take us 5 years just to infiltrate them. And even if we did, it would be too dangerous. So that shows you where their priorities are.
Well, yeah, the lackey pays the price. The person on the street that is like on the street corner selling or whatever, he's the bottom rung. This is it. They never get the top echelon, so to speak. But I'm talking about citizens just walking around with a joint in their pocket. Citizens go home at night, maybe take a couple of hits off a joint before they go to bed. Whatever they got to do. Why are we locking people up? Putting them in cages, that's the term that I use, because that's what we're doing.
Hey, Ray, did you watch the rest of that Michael Moore DVD?
I watched part of it.
Okay, they got a thing on Portugal where it's been legal or, not criminalized for like 2 decades or something.
I read about that in the paper and different articles, but I haven't seen it on the DVD yet, but okay. I will watch it.
It's coming, but they asked the police, what do you guys think of it? And he said that basically there's no problems. He says, there's a very small percentage of the abusers that conduct crime and things like that, but the vast majority of people are very productive. They don't cause any trouble, etc.
What got me, Chuck, is one of these tapes you gave me where the authorities found a residue of marijuana in the garbage can of some guy. So they get a warrant. They go in at like midnight at this guy's house. He's sleeping with his wife and his kids. The cops break the door down. They immediately eradicate the dog because that's part of the system. And they got everybody on the floor and harassment and everything else. They find a small amount of marijuana, small amount, not a dealer or anything else. The guy paid a $300 fine. But it's just their way of terrorizing people, saying this is the law and we're going to enforce it. Whatever we got to do, we're going to rub your nose in it. And it's got to stop. And Nevada will have that opportunity in November, and I encourage people to register to vote and vote to decriminalize marijuana. I'm going to call you guys later in the show because the phone number pops up every so often. Noah is doing a good job on this, but I got a couple different subjects I want to talk about, but I wanted to make sure I clocked in on this one because the show is going real good and I don't want to stymie it with other subjects. So
Just don't lick frogs, okay?
Hey, let me bring something real quick.
stay away from the frogs and the toads too.
All right, take care.
Later.
We were just, maybe think of this in our discussion about marijuana and just people, small potatoes folks getting lit up for small amounts of marijuana. Well, if you talk to most cops, if they catch somebody, say it was in a traffic stop, or if it's not like a drug-related thing where they're not looking for drugs, if they have a small amount of marijuana, they just take it and step on it in the street or empty the bag and just move. They usually, it's not worth it for most cops because they realize what's going on and they use their discretion, which is fine. But the problem is other cops though, or that same cop could say, well, that's for these guys. Well, I don't like that guy,
Right.
or that group of people, or those guys are all a member of a certain political party, which I don't like, and they will get hit for the marijuana.
Sure.
So and again, it's totally unfair when either go after everybody or don't go after anybody. And but again, the world's not that way. You're always going to have the Bilderberg group types that are, like the very wealthy, the people that Hillary Clinton gets most of her money from. Those families, the upper 1%, they live their life anyway. You talk about drugs, but they do as much drugs as they want, and they never get even looked at.
They do
That's because they live in such beautiful homes, and how are the cops going to get out to their yachts anyway?
By the way, some of the things I've researched, the DVD Ray was talking about was called Culture High, and it was made in 2014 and released last year. It's superb. It's about 2 hours. You can get it on Amazon or eBay or whatever. It really opens your eyes. Other sources was the Emperor Hemp DVD, the Jack Farrer story. He also wrote a book, The Emperor Wears No Clothes, Fabulous History of Hemp, and the real reason why it's been made illegal. The Vice Channel has a series called Weedicate. I watched the episode Stone Vets, Marijuana Migrants in and out of Colorado, Culture High, etc. There's a series called Drugs, Inc. Tremendous sources of information. I got a lot more coming. We're getting ready for break. We appreciate your calls. Hope more people call.